Yeah, and Sean, I know you've helped us a lot. Like Dave has mentioned that you've spoke to like several of our customers and said lots of good things about us. So really, really appreciate everything. He
Yeah.
also told me that I don't know if this was like, and hopefully I'm not mixing you up with someone else, but I don't know if this was like an official record or something, but like, did you have a Generac rep tell you that you were the fastest person to ever reach elite status like
Yes.
that quickly?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it was 1 month. We went from I became a dealer, I signed up with you guys, and then I sold $100,000 in generators, in 1 month, purchased from Generac. So the rep called me and was like, it was funny. Like the first 2 weeks, I was trying to get info on like pricing and stuff from my sales rep, and
Hmm.
I was just winging it and selling them anyway, basically. And all of a sudden, she must have seen like the numbers and called me and was like, "What the hell?" She's like, "You're the fastest growing we've ever had." She's like, "Do you think you're going to get to elite in a month?" I'm like, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. And yeah, it was like 1 month and 3 days or something. We went from zero to 100,000 purchased from Generac, and they sent me an outside sales rep right away. And he came and was like, "Yeah, you're clearly a young rising star over here on our on our radar." So he told me there I was the fastest person they had go from literally zero to elite.
Oh man, that is like music to our ears. Like that is literally why we do this. And how like what does that look like in sales for you? Like how does that what's the
Um, I,
yeah.
th- I think as of today, so I signed up with you guys March 1st or somewhere right around there.
Hmm.
As of today, I think we're at like 380,000 dollars worth of gross revenue. Um, and then I think purchased from Generac, we're at like 150K now. Um, in purchase from, they track exactly what we've ordered from them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it went fast. I mean, we're only 3 months in. It kind of was like the perfect storm, like figuratively and realistically. I signed up with you guys in like 3 months, or excuse me, 3 weeks after we started. So like right when the ad started to mature a little bit, we got hit
Hmm.
with three tornadoes in a row, and our entire service area was without power. And I was like, all right. I mean, I guess this is when preparation meets opportunity, or whatever they say luck is. So then,
Right.
yeah, I was just like taking every call, and then I really took to heart what you guys said about the speed to lead. So
Hmm.
thankfully, I had all of my speed to lead like background like software set up, and I had like autoresponders all ready to go, and I have a VA that works for me remotely, and he was all ready to go, and he's crushing it. So he's able to get on him fast, and we send a text and an email immediately. And if he doesn't hear from him in 6 hours, he calls him. Um, and we had it all set up ready to go when that storm happened. So there was that. That really helps. I mean,
Hmm.
but realistically, the ad's working. And then
Yeah, yeah.
what so I just left a review for you guys on Trustpilot too or something. And
Oh yeah. Thank you so
what I was
much.
trying to say is like, there's so much that I can or like attribute directly to the form fill that I get with you guys. But then also like all of those people's neighbors we've ended up installing generators for and stuff too. So it's like realistically I should be attributing those numbers to you guys too. So I have, and I do when I talk about it, but it's like they didn't come directly from the form fill, but there's something that I didn't even think about, the fact that this pocket of this neighborhood's going to lose power. All those neighbors are going to tell each other, "Hey, we had a good experience with Southeast Electrical Services," and then even though that ad was never seen by that person,
Hmm.
when I'm calculating exactly like my ROI and stuff from ad spend with you guys, I bring those into account too. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
that
that
was
makes
just something
perfect
I didn't
sense.
I didn't even think about.
Hmm.
Was like
Yeah,
how well the referrals would go with clients.
that's right. Yeah, and I actually, Sean, I used to sell generators, and Mitch used to install. I'm sure Dave probably filled you in when you were signing up with us.
Yep.
But that's from my experience, right? It's like in order to really, really scale the business, like you've got to be able to close, cold traffic, obviously not all of it, right? No one wins everything, but it's you got to
Yeah,
close
no.
the cold stuff. You got to close the hot stuff is easy, right? Everybody is going to get referrals and stuff. But those are
Hmm.
like, they dry up eventually, or sometimes they're like few and far between. But that the best way to generate more is like, we run a top of funnel campaign like this. We put you in front of people that are like actively shopping. There some
Yep.
of them might be in earlier stages of buying. They're still learning about the project. But if you keep nurturing them and you sell them, and then now you've got like a friend and a customer that has two neighbors and they're going to ask them about it. And now that's kind of how you keep generating those referrals and those hot leads, right? So it all kind of connects and works together. Obviously you understand that, and that's why you've been able to do so well so quickly, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, I think that's the top of funnel is the way to describe it perfectly. And it's
Hmm.
working great. I mean, like now because I've sold so much so quickly, like Generac's Power Play lead generation is feeding us more leads. But
Hmm.
I still have no intention of slowing down with you guys because the more leads from you guys, the more I'm talking to people, the better I'm going to be at presenting, like the more warmed up I am. And then even just like, um, even if it's like we have some some good months and bad months, whatever, with leads with, I'll take it from anywhere is basically
Yeah.
like my thought process. And I already have like the qualifying figured out. And so, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And how
it's
do
working
you
great.
how do you qualify these leads? Because we have obviously our form that does qualification, but without like really because we don't want to scare them off with like a crazy high ticket price on a Facebook form, right? Essentially on
Of
a landing
course.
page. So what is your, if you don't mind sharing, what is your follow up, or what is your
I don't.
qualification process from there?
Oh yeah, I don't mind at all. Literally the first text I send them, I say, it's all. I should just read it verbatim. Um, but I give them a large range.
Hmm.
Um, literally in that first text, just to make sure that they're even, because some people think that this whole thing's going to get installed for $5,000.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
and I
I've
want
heard
to,
even less.
yeah, right, and I want to get those people out of my
They're
sales
and
pipeline
those
as
guys
fast
are
as I
going to
can.
come in, right? But they're not the ones we're competing for, obviously. So a quick text,
Exactly.
make sure they got the right idea of the project, and then you can choose to spend your time with them or not from there. But what I realized when I was selling is there's so many people that if you just say, if they were to have just seen like, oh, this is $15,000 before talking to anyone at all, a lot of those people
Yeah.
would have moved forward if they
Yep.
got that price with the right context. So
Yeah. Our first text says, "Hey, customer first name. I saw your interest in generator pricing. We're a local company out of Waukesha. We sell and install Generac generators. Our typical installation price runs between 12,000 and 16,000, depending on the specific needs of your house. What day works best for us to stop by for a free estimate?"
it's perfect. It's perfect. Thank you for sharing.
Yep. And then also they get a email immediately that um, says, "Hey, thanks for reaching out about a generator estimate for your home. This is Sean with Southeast Electrical Services here in Waukesha. Just received your request. I want to follow up right away so we can get you taken care of. A couple of quick questions. That would help us size the generator correctly. Do you know if your home has 100, 150, or 200? Are you hoping to power the entire house during an outage or just the essential circuits? Does your home currently have natural gas or propane? If you happen to know the answers, hit reply, let me know. It helps recommend the right generator size before we come out. Just so you're aware, pricing typically runs between 12,000 and 16,000 depending on the answers above. If you'd rather talk quickly, you can text me, blah, blah, blah. Thanks again. By the way, here, check out our latest review we did on the job last week. And then I have a screenshot of a 5-star review where the guy ranted and raved about how good the install went. And then it's a drip campaign, so it'll keep following up with them. And I just keep every single one has a review screenshot.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Sean. Actually, this is something that I'm actually really passionate about.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of online businesses understand the importance of social like that, like testimonials and reviews and stuff. That's what we're doing right now, right? A
Yeah.
lot, I think a lot of local businesses like yours, in person, they don't understand and they don't utilize social proof nearly as much as they could. And so you adding those reviews and stuff to those texts almost certainly has been a huge part of the success. And like, yeah, I'm a big proponent of like literally wherever you can display social proof in like obviously a class kind of way that it makes sense, you should absolutely do it. That's like, yeah, proof is king. And we've
Totally.
even like our testing and other stuff online, and just like whatever. The vast majority of ads that work really well too are proof ads and also, right? It's like it's proving your competence or your honesty or like something like that, but it's proving to the person, because everybody can make promises. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
that's cool.
Well, that's good. I added that in there really honestly not that long ago, probably 3 weeks ago, maybe. Something
Nice.
like that. Now all of a sudden, because you know we're new at this, so I didn't have any 5-star generator specific reviews.
Mhm.
So as soon as we started getting them, I started adding them to all of these first texts. And it seems like you're right. Before I got a lot of people that would text back rather than email back. And now, even just adding this review to the email, I'm starting to see more emailed replies rather than text replies. So I'm wondering if they're getting the text and they're ignoring it, and then they're reading the email and they see the Google review and they're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
and then they answer the questions.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what there's like three main things that have to happen, right, for this type of thing to work. And you've got to one, be exposed to the people that are wanting to buy your product, your in your target
Mhm.
audience. Two, they need to know that you're an expert at what you do. And then three, most importantly, they've got to trust that you're accurate, right? That you're reputable. And at this point in today's day and age, like it's not even just about people believing that. Obviously, that's at the end game, right? But today 2026 with these algorithms and the way that the internet works, we need Facebook and Google's algorithm to trust you and know you're an expert too, because they're actually the ones that are choosing to show you to other people, right? So you
Yeah.
obviously have the systems in place to make sure that all that's connected. And obviously, as you can see, and like anyone else that's going to watch this, is you don't have to be in business for 10 years and have 2,000 reviews to make this work, right? If you could start that quick and become an elite, status installer within a month, right? So, um,
Yeah.
to,
Hmm.
to recap, it sounds so you just started the business, or at least the generator division of the business. Did you
Yes.
you got success very quickly? You had some storms hit, right? And that's what the ads do, right? They're not going to create demand out of thin air, but when there is demand, they're going to capture demand and they're going to nurture those people towards actually purchasing, right? So that's our goal. So all that kind of happened at the perfect time for you, and now you've got a well optimized campaign that should do you well, from here on out, right? So
Yep.
before this, did you try anything? I know it was very new, so I assume maybe this was the first thing you tried, but were you doing anything else to bring in leads before us at all?
Not with generators. No.
Hmm.
Nope. Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I also come from a generator background at a previous company that I used to work for. And we did a lot of installs. And then when I started my own company, it was just me. So I didn't have the manpower, to install the
Hmm.
generators. And then I hired a journeyman who basically had taken my position at the company I used to work for. So then when he came to work for us, that's when we started with the generators, or it became something that we decided, hey, we're going to try this again. And I mean, you guys are good at advertising, so of course my Facebook started blowing up with your guys' ads because I was Googling, generator marketing agencies, and I was starting to get signed up with Generac. So well done, your targeting works. And I was like, well, these guys found me. Like clearly it works. They have something figured out.
Yeah.
And so you guys were the first people I reached out to, and just honestly from the jump, I was very impressed at how you guys handled yourselves. My account manager Darian is awesome. Um, and even just the videos, Mitch, that I watched where you guys were like, "Here's how you do it. Here's how we see success." Like, I come from this background. Like, this is why I started this company. Just do what we say. And I was like, perfect. That's what I'm going to do then. Like, you guys clearly haven't figured out. It worked to get to me. I'm just going to do that. Um, and that's exactly the steps that I followed. And imagine that it worked. So I was just impressed, like literally from the jump. And even I felt very comfortable with the fact that your videos stressed like, hey, if this doesn't work, we're not signing you onto a year-long contract, and then you're going to be like, yeah, well, call our lawyer. I hate those kind of companies. You guys were like, we only are successful if you're successful, and I'm like, that's a partnership. That's what I'm looking for. That's not some gimmicky marketing agency
Yeah.
that's trying to
Yeah.
lock me into a contract. And I'm like, I saw nothing but, why would I not try it? And man, I'm super glad I did. Like I said, thank you guys. I mean, realistically, I didn't even get to say thank you yet, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, you
man.
guys have
Thank you.
added, you
You,
guys
yeah.
have, we're literally up 100% from the number that I was at last year as far as gross revenue. We're going to double our gross revenue um, from the year, or like year to date. We're already double. And that's just because of what you guys have helped us do. And I've just hired an apprentice. I'm hiring another journeyman to keep up with just the generator pipeline and our pipeline that we had before. So yeah.
Awesome, man. That is exactly why we do this. And we want to make it, this is our culture at SwiftSocial is, similar to how it sounds like you do business, right? Like it's man to man. We want to form a partnership here. We're not just the type of agency that's just going to, throw up a couple cookie cutter ads and, just run the ads and tell you got to spend more if it's not working. We are going to work obviously closely with you. We might cost a little bit more than some guys, but we have things pretty personalized. We're using a lot of tech and a lot of data to make sure that we're doing what is working.
Mhm.
Yeah, obviously it's working well for you. And is there anything that you would say to like other generator installers who are considering our services, but maybe like are on the fence? Is there anything that you would say to them specifically?
Um, well, I have talked to a few of those people now. And realistically, what I gave them was just my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what I would lead with should someone be calling and asking me, like, hey, what do you think about these guys? I would say they're legit, man. Here's my exact numbers. Like again, we've went from 0 generator installs 3 months later. I've sold almost $400,000 worth. So it works. You just have to follow what you guys say. And again, I think the speed to lead is crucial. Um, you have to you have to be ready for that. And if you're not, it's not on you guys bringing the leads. It's on them not being prepared to take advantage of those leads quick enough. Um,
Right.
I I would lean into the fact that you guys are this non-contract, month to month, and offer that money back guarantee. Like, why would you not try it? I I've told people before. I said, look, our ROI is averaging around 7. So if I can give these guys $1 and they give me back $7, I'm just gonna give them as many of my dollars as I can. Like like what the heck? Like
Yeah.
that's pretty easy math. I
Those are good.
didn't graduate college. I became an electrician, and I still could figure that out. So, um,
That's what I did too. Yeah, I didn't go to college either. I did like thinking about this.
yeah,
So for both of us, it sounds like so. It's
yeah,
good.
heck yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Nice,
You
Sean.
got
Well,
any more
thank you.
questions? I guess I think you already kind of covered it, Sean,
Hmm.
because we kind of glossed past it at the start. But I mean, you're based out of Waukesha. You started
Yep.
off with didn't have any sales. I mean, what was kind of like the exact like image of the business? When you started. I mean, what did
Yeah.
it look like
Okay.
actually day to day?
Yeah, good
So
to touch on. I suppose I should let you know where we started from. We did primarily residential remodeling and residential service. However, we had been working for a couple local remodelers, and just I've been in business since 2020, so this is going on our 6th year. Um, for a long time, it was just me, and honestly, I just did a lot more traveling than I did electrical work. And I didn't hire my first journeyman until 2024, and that's when I really started to think like a business owner and realize, okay, I got to keep this guy busy and blah blah blah. And that's when I started looking into advertising. And even at that time, we were doing primarily residential remodeling, but the pressure from local GCs just kept pushing margins lower and lower and lower. And I realized that I needed to transition into more of a service based company. And this, my lead journeyman and I had a generator background, so it wasn't as scary of a leap. But realistically, it's not that big of a change from doing residential remodeling to installing one of these things. And here's one thing that I guess I never took the time to sort out in my brain was when I ran the numbers, the gross profit margin on a generator install, if you're looking at just gross profit margin, seems to be low. And in my brain, it was like, why would I chase something that's going to have this low gross profit margin? But when I thought about profit per day, because or net profit per day, we're knocking out one of these installs in a day, day and a half at most, and that net profit per day is much higher than we were making doing residential remodeling or even service. And so your gross profit margin was low, but my net profit per day was high enough that I'm like, oh, okay, when I think about it that way, this is something I need to give a shot. Sorry, that was a really long-winded, rambling answer about what our company looked like.
No, that's a great point too that you made at the end there.
Yeah,
Yes.
even when I talk to other business owners, they're like, "What is your gross profit margin on a generator?" And I tell them, and they're like, "Oh, that seems really low." And I'm like, "Yeah, but we're making
Especially because
$3,500 in a day, like with one guy."
Yeah. Even if your margins are like 20 to 40% or something, like most of our clients are, it's like, if it's a $15,000 install, 30% of that's still not bad. Especially, you got one crew, you knock out one a day, Monday through Friday. And then what happens when you have two crews and you're doing 2 installs a day, So
Yes.
you're right. It's like, maybe my margins are 30% on this, but overall my profit is like, so.
That's exactly what it is. We average kind of between 25 and 30%. And, that's sounds not that good compared to residential remodeling, but a kitchen remodel is $15,000 spread out over 2 weeks. This is $15,000 spread out over 8 hours. So I'm like, oh, this net profit per day is actually much larger on a generator install. Even if I'm making a 40% margin doing a remodel, it's, that net profit per day is way lower. And so, yeah, business has been good for 3 months.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sean,
You got any other questions?
I was just going to say, I appreciate the opportunity that you've given us to like show you what we can do. And obviously, I think you've recently signed up for like a quarterly plan, right? I believe
Yeah,
so.
man. As soon as Darian offered that, I'm like, no brainer. Yep.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
good.
and that's what most of our guys end up doing is once they are with us for a few months, they realize everything's legit and working because we're very aware that like for every like one good agency out there, there's like 1,000 bad ones, right? And there's a lot of
Yep.
sliminess and scams happening in the industry. So that's a challenge that we deal with, and then I just appreciate you willing to try it so we could show you how legit this is. And then obviously, we provide like a discount if you want to sign up for more time once you realize that, we're going to partner for a while. So
Yeah.
we're happy to be working with you. Thank you for your time today. If I don't have anything else, I don't want to hold you